Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are had this stream set up tonight, and we're still gonna do it. My co-host is gonna be the great Marcus Williams. Again, we had a great time last week, and so he'll be popping in shortly. Tyrone has got some other obligations with his dissertation and such, so um, it's just gonna be us. But we wanted to just open the show with the unfortunate news of one of our brothers um, passed away today. Just got the news today. Um, Mr. Deshaun Harper and has left us, and it's a you know mm, very, very, very difficult time for a lot of people. We want to send our prayers out to the Harper family, to the jazz communities of Atlanta as well as New York City. Deshaun was making great strides up in New York, and um, we want to just sort of pass our condolences out to all people involved that knew this great young man. And we'll share some stories with Tyrone. Hopefully we can do something. I'm not sure if he's going to be with me next week, but we'll do one coming up here shortly, and just talk a little bit more about some things. And um, tonight tonight's not the time to get into everything, but um, we the one thing I guess I will say that's is always on my mind, and I feel like it's not on enough people's mind, is just mental health and how overlooked in all communities that can be, in all professions that can be. In sports, everybody's so concentrated on the physical, right? The physical ability. Um, in music, I guess you could say the same thing. It's the physical ability, how good you are on your instrument. Um, and a lot of things are overlooked as far as um, one's own well-being, I guess you could say, right? That's a tough thing to take control of and to be in control of, because you're, especially in if you're an artist, or if you're uh, I guess it could be really any profession. You're judged so harshly on um, your performance, and a lot of times the physical person is really not even is not really considered. It's all about the performance. How well did you perform on such and such a date, or you know and the human person that's actually doing the performance doesn't really even exist, I guess, when it comes to things like that. So you know the there's a lot of I guess it can be quite controversial, especially for men, because um, you know, mental health is not looked at as um, a uh, a thing of strength. It's looked at as a thing of weakness, right? And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of young people, man, are under a tremendous amount of stress, and I mean everybody, but I can only imagine being young in this day and age of I can't imagine that. You have so many um you have so many things that are against you in terms of real development as a person, and as in whatever profession that you are. There's a lot of shortcuts. Everybody wants the shortcut. Everybody wants the superstardom, the the likes, and the post, and um the social media accolades, and so there's a lot of pressure um on on kids, so you have to take that into account. But I think as a whole, you really have to first take care of your own well-being, and that comes before anything else. So if somebody wants to call you a punk, or somebody wants to call you weak, or somebody wants to say you ain't built for this, or somebody wants to say yada yada yada, I mean, man, you know f them. you know I don't say I mean, there's so much of that, and some of it can be, you have to be a strong individual to be able to stand up for yourself. You don't have to take it. um it's hard sometimes, because there can be some constructive criticism there that sometimes we all need to hear, right? But there can also be a lot of mental abuse that comes from that kind of thing also. So it's a tough, it's a tough, it can be a tough line to 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 walk, I guess you could say. So, but we're going to do a show coming up here in the next couple of shows, strictly dealing with mental health, and I'm going to try to get some people that are kind of experts in this field to talk about some of the things that individuals can be doing to strengthen themselves. I think the misconception of being a musician, or being an artist, or being whatever, if you do this for a living and you pay your bills with it, um the misconception is that we're just up here having fun, you know which is the thing that I get PO'd about a lot, is because people, why you not smiling? you know well, do you smile at your job all the time when you're working? They just, and I know it's a natural sort of naive thing to think that, you know, every time we get behind the drums, or get behind the piano, or pick up a horn, or pick up a guitar, or whatever, we're just supposed to just be having fun, you know. And there's a hell of a lot of work and sacrifice that goes into this shit, you know. And some nights, if you're your own worst critic, you're not going to be happy with what's going on. And truth can be, truth can also be told that if you're at a certain maybe level or a certain place in your development and somebody else is kind of messing that up for you at the time, uh that can be a not so great experience as well. So the whole smile thing, man, get over it, because you don't really understand the mental capacity that, especially if you're playing music on a high level, uh this is not fun and games all the time. So if somebody ain't smiling up on stage, it don't mean they're not happy, but you don't know what could have happened to them that particular day. They could be having some sort of issues with something, but there could be a million reasons, why that's not happening. But uh don't think this is just, we do this for fun. And a lot of guys get into um you can bite off more than you can chew sometimes. Let's just say that. So um that's just something that I think the general public and the audience needs to have a better understanding of and a better handle on, is, you know, thinking that, this shit is just all fun and games, because it's not. It really isn't. You love what you do and you're passionate about what you're doing, but you know this is serious business, and some people, they can take it even further than that, and you kind of have to know who you are to kind of be able to have a balance and know how to balance that, because it becomes very complex, because you're dealing with a lot of different personalities, and especially when you're talking about jazz music, you're dealing with people trying to speak a certain language. So it could be very, very, very complex what's happening at any given time. So drop the whole, why you're not smiling thing, just, I'm gonna get off that. But that's one thing that just really gets on my nerves. Um, but man, uh Marcus just got here. He was going through the construction of what has become Atlanta. So I appreciate.
Yeah,
No, man. I was just venting a little bit and talking about, some different some different stuff. But we were talking about a little bit about mental health, and I don't want to get too deep tonight, because we're going to do another couple of shows on that. But what's your take on that, man? What's your feelings about that situation?
man. It's mental health is something that you can't really fathom what's going on in somebody's world in their head. And um, I've been asleep and and my mind started going crazy stuff. I mean, thoughts that I can't even imagine. Why am I thinking this? And I can't make them go anywhere else. And it made me realize, like, mental health is when I was just I don't do that often. I don't know what happened, and God was showing me how it feels when you this everything you thinking you can't control, and you feel that you can't take being this way. Like you just want to, you can't, it's almost like if something's getting on your nerve, the TV and it's doing something and you wake up and you can just cut it off. That's
Right.
what they doing to themselves when they, I mean, it was the craziest thing. I woke up actually scared and having the feeling I know why people kill themselves with this thing. And
Hmm.
you can't describe how it's making you feel and what you're going through. I couldn't even figure out the words to say what was happening. But I was like, I prayed. I was like, then you gotta take this off. This is crazy. But I know because like my nephew about a year and a half ago, he killed himself.
That's right.
And because of the stuff that was going on, it's so deep, man. It's not, you can't explain it like, oh, my shoulder hurts right here when I do this. People know about pains and stuff that you can, but mental stuff, it's just like the thoughts that you think every day. You could be talking to people and your mind could go somewhere else. You sitting there, no nobody know what you're thinking or what your feelings is and where your mind is going. You in your own world.
Hmm.
Just like people are listening now and they could be just like, oh, why is he doing? You just your mind going different places, but we don't know it. We don't know what. And it's look. I'm just gonna tell you. You got to. We need to pray for each other. When you see somebody looking strange and you get a feeling about them, you just need to say some prayers for them because I don't know how many people know Mose Davis. A long time ago, he was going through some stuff. He didn't talk to me about nothing, but I've been with him since 1982, 1983. And we were working at the hotel, around in the early 2000s and stuff. It was the the Atlanta was going through some changes with it wasn't a lot of places to play, some places, the stuff that we were doing, and financial stuff was going on. So we were walking one day, going to the hotel, and I just said, he was like, "Man, I can't do this, and I the money and I blah blah I ain't working that much. All my bills, blah." And he just going through this stuff, and then all of a sudden I said, "Mose," I said, "You thought about killing yourself?" And he looked
Mm.
at me and he said, how did you know?" I said, "I don't know. It's just a feeling just came over me that
Wow.
you thought about killing yourself." And he said, and he had done it. And I said, "Don't do that." I told him, I said, "I'm praying for you." And I tell you what, you go. And he was having, I said, "Go give your 10% to God and do that." He's like, "I can't afford to." I said, "No, you can't afford not to. If you want something and you want something to change, make a declaration to God with what you want, with what you need, give it away to him." And do you know the next week he came to me, he said, "Man, I'm getting calls and then this," and he kept doing it
Mhm.
every week. And
Mhm.
and now he's just doing great. He ain't had that kind of
Mhm.
problem since. But
Mhm.
people get into depressions and stuff and what's going on in their world. That's why you see a lot of kids killing themselves. For it doesn't seem like nothing to us, but everybody has grown up, even in kindergarten. If you're not accepted, that whole thing weighs heavy on you as a kid.
Yes.
And your
Yes.
parents will say, "Man,
Yes.
get over, it's just kids. You ain't even got to worry about it."
Yeah.
But they don't understand how you feel. And you hate to
Right.
go to school the next day because this certain people gonna talk about you and nobody really likes you and you don't fit in. All of this stuff, it,
Yeah.
it, it wears on you. So
Yeah.
that's what a
You can make a direct correlation with to the what we do with that with the with whatever musical circle you are
yeah,
either in or trying to get in.
yeah.
It's same thing.
So Yogi Horton, famous drummer, Luther
Yeah.
Vandross, he on the top of the world, but what I've heard that he didn't feel like he was getting or appreciated as much. He was going through some things too, and he killed himself because of that. I
Yeah.
mean, look, and then we you can look at Yogi Horton and say, "You making over $300,000 a year. You touring with Luther Vandross. You on all of the album. You got endorsement. What are you talking about?" And this is
Right.
in the 70s and 80s. And
Right.
when that $300,000 can go a long way.
Right.
So and you look at that and go, what? was wrong with him? But in your world, you could be a millionaire, a billionaire, but your world, if you it weighs heavy on you, man. And you any a number of things can make you think about taking yourself out.
Well, my condolences to your family as well. I don't think I ever had a chance to send them for your nephew. You know, I remember when I heard about all of that, and I'm sure I sent you a text, but I know your life at that. You know, I can only imagine what was going on at that time. So I'm not even
Yeah.
thinking about you. Remember that, but I just wanted to send that out to you now. You know, because that's something that never goes away. You know, it
Yeah.
never goes away.
Yeah.
And you know, but just to what you were saying, man, the fitting in, you know, that's such a big it's such a big deal, is fitting in, you know,
Mhm.
being part of a group, being part of a circle or whatever. You know, I was always taught, you know, by my father. He tried to ingrain in me at a very young age to don't follow the crowd, be an individual,
Yeah.
try to be different, learn how to, you know, be a leader, don't be a follower.
Right.
And being young, that was, man, that was the worst thing I could ever hear, because I want to be with all my friends. If they got,
Right.
if all my friends got their hats turned on backwards, I want to turn mine backwards too.
Right. Right.
If they all got a certain sneaker on, I want my mom and dad to go take me to the store to get those same sneakers so I can
Yeah.
be like them.
Yeah.
And you know, so I've sort of had that, you know, fought with that for a long time, and then once I began to, I guess, get old enough to understand it, he wasn't what he was saying wasn't so much to, you know, never listen to it, to what other people are saying, or don't be a part of a group per se, but what he was saying was, man, think for yourself, is
Yeah.
what he was saying.
Right.
Learn to think for yourself, which is the hardest thing. For if you're trying to get a gig, you know, which was one thing that, you know, I wanted to talk about tonight, was getting a gig. How do you get a gig? But if you want to get a gig, there's a certain, it might be the way you look, it might
Mhm.
be the way you talk, it
Right.
might be, uh you know, a lot of times getting the gig doesn't have a whole lot. I mean, it does have something to do with your plan, but it doesn't have everything to do with your plan, right?
Right.
Is
Right.
And there's other things involved in that. And some cats, man, um, they go to the ends of the earth to please other people so that they can be a part of something. And
Right.
that's where it gets dangerous, because
Right.
when you leave yourself at the door and you walk into a room and you are vulnerable to a a man, a lot of people out there do not have your best interest at heart. They
Right.
are out there to get whatever it is that they can get from you, to use for themselves, to
Right.
get themselves in what they think is going to be a higher place.
Right.
So some cats, man, they don't have that sense. They don't have, they don't understand how to work through that. I also, you know, it's a little bit of, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's kind of the pimp and the hoe game.
Yeah.
It's the 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 politics are the same.
Yeah.
So as a young cat, how do you know, if you don't have older people around you that you trust and that can help you navigate some of this stuff, man, you're just gonna be open season, man, on you. It's gonna be open season on you, because people who prey on other people can see you coming a mile away.
Yeah. And once they see, if they say something that strikes a nerve in you and they see that, Oh, they gonna work on that one right there. They gonna
They
drive that
man,
in you. It's
man,
like,
come on.
if you like, don't say nothing about so and so because he really sensitive about that, and that's what they really do to mess with you. But you know what? My whole thing, I thought I I do think for myself. I don't follow anybody. I don't do I do what I think is my path is my path. And I don't care what people think about it or what they say about it, or if they don't like me or do that if they do like me. Now I know people that I know that don't like me, but they don't even know I know they don't like me, and I still really nice to them and talk to them like they don't even know what I know. And like a lot of people don't know, I have so many friends that they'll say something around folks that they think they got confidence in, and I know a lot of stuff.
Right,
But when I see him, I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing? Good to see you,
right,
man. So the family good, and blah blah." I
right,
just keep it on. I don't let it worry me. I don't take it out on them. I don't hate them. I just treat it with goodness and kindness, cause I got better things to do than sit around and worrying about them hating me or not liking me or talking about me.
right,
Because my thing is, if I be me and don't play into that, everybody knows how I am. If they know, and then it all turns back on the other person. I don't know what his problem is, but I've never seen what he's talking about. You got to let it roll off your back and keep on going on your path.
right.
No path, nothing ever that's worth getting somewhere does it costs a lot. And the road to doing that is teaching you to be who you supposed to be. You got to learn these lessons instead of pull going in after these people and reacting to that
Right.
and then listening to what they say and then tearing your own self down for what
That's
they
what they want
say.
you to do. That's
That's
what they
what they
want you to
want
do.
you to do. But you got to say, I don't know what he's talking about, and I don't care. I'm gonna go and do that because this is what I'm gonna do. And I do what I want to do. And I do not care, and I have no apologies for it. Because the first thing when you do something that everybody else talking about doing, and you do it and you mess up, and they're like, well, they were saying they was telling me that I should blah blah. Okay. They were like, then they're like, well, why you do it? You didn't have to do it.
Right,
You didn't have to do it. And you can't blame them for you messing up.
right.
Because if you thought for yourself and say, I'm not doing, I'm just doing my thing. I do not, man, I just can't say it enough. And everybody that know me, you don't see me out all the time. You don't see me doing nothing around. You don't hear about me bad mouthing people and acting a fool. What I try to do is keep myself as a where you can see as an example for how I am or how you supposed to be. And when
Right.
I do that, I feel good. I don't worry about stuff. Man, I just and a lot of the people that did stuff, they change. And all of a sudden now I'm like, these mugs, he's actually was cool and nice and for real.
Mhm.
And they'll break down and they'll be like, okay, I don't know what's wrong with what I'm doing with.
Right.
He's not, you know, just be good to folks, man. Cause there's one more story I got to tell you about that kind of thing too. Now it's an Einstein Bagels that I go to at 2 or 3 times a week. And I was going in there when I first started going in there, I found it because they did things right. So I was one time I went in there because I order on the app and then
Mhm.
but they won't let you tell you what you don't want on there or what to add on there. And so I'm going in there and the manager came and I said, yeah, and I want the flavored coffee. Oh, you don't get the flavored coffee. It doesn't come with that. It's just coffee. And I was like, well, the picture shows no, it does not come with that. And so says, I said, well, okay, why can't they update the app to where you could do that? I know technology, you could do it. I'm not acting a fool. I ain't raising my voice. I'm still speaking. Well, you can so and so. I said, okay, well, fine. But He said, well, you got to come in and order from the desk right here to make those decisions. I said, then I won't get my reward points. I get my reward points when I'm here, and I ain't got a lot of time. And he kept going and doing things, and he'd say things, and I just kept being nice. Like, hey, how you doing this morning? And then one day, after some weeks, I come in there, Marcus, I got you ready. What do you want, the caramel coffee? Oh, you having a good day? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And I'm sitting up there going, and everybody in the place that worked there was treating me nice. They know my name. So now when I put in my order, they know I like extra capers and no onions and toasted and the caramel thing. And they give it to me. And then, how you doing? Good to see you. And he's just so nice. Now, if I'd have acted a fool,
Right.
they'd probably ban me and him. I'm like, well, you ain't nothing but But I just kept my niceness and kept calm. And I was like, I say, from a customer to you as a manager, I'm just giving you something that I'm thinking that makes sense, and that I'm a customer, and I'm not trying to do. I just, blah blah. And they are the nicest people to me now. And I'm overwhelmed when I go in there now. They all know my name. Marcus, did you get the extra caper? Okay, I got you so and so. Oh, hey, you have a great day. Y'all too. You have a great day. So, you got to just do that. And so that keeps your mental state down. If you getting mental, do what you love to do. Pick up some sticks, a guitar or something and play. Make yourself laugh. Look at something. It's not, I know it's hard with that mental thing when it's messing with you. That's the problem with it.
Right.
Sometimes you just can't jump out of it.
Right.
Sometimes you just can't jump out of it.
You got to seek some help also, man. You can't,
Right.
I mean, if there's online, you can go, you don't even have to, back in the day, you have to make an appointment, go to, some place where you were, you didn't want nobody to see you because you was going to see the psychiatrist or whatever, and you didn't want anybody to know. And like you can do that online now, man.
But you know what? They need to get over that mess and talk to your friends.
I agree, man.
Talk to
I
somebody, man. Just talking to people you don't know, just letting that out and discuss with people you love and people that know you.
You have to vent,
care
right?
about you got to say something, because the most thing you hear when people do stuff like that is like, why didn't he tell me? Why didn't I let somebody know?
Man, that was the first thing when I heard the news this morning. The person I was talking to, that's the first thing they said. Why didn't I know? I saw this cat.
You're right.
Why he didn't say something?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You don't say nothing, man. You get so much help. You got to speak out and you got to talk. You just got to have somebody that, look, man, can I just talk to you for a minute? I have people just call me just because they want to laugh, because they know eventually I'm going to make them laugh.
You the master.
I am. I'm going to have us laughing hard. And then Bugs get out the phone and said, Marcus, I needed that. I needed that laugh I just got, man. He said, because my day was going crazy and I feel good now. I said, well, good, man. Keep those thoughts together and do what you need to do. Don't stress yourself over it. Don't just go do. Keep your mind off that. It will work itself out.
And, and listen to your inner self. You know when you are not in the right place.
Yep.
You know when the wrong people are around you. You know, listen to it. It will save you a lot of pain and a lot of heartache, because everybody has intuition, man. Everybody, but sometimes you don't want to listen to it because something else has a hold of you at that time.
Right.
And we don't need to get into all of that tonight, but something else has a hold of you and you're not listening to that inner voice that is telling you this is not good, get out of here, get away from this person, yada yada yada. So as musicians, you know, I'm sure you got stories. I got everybody's got story. You want that tour, you want that
Yeah.
tour gig, or you want that studio session, or you want, and then when you get it, you're like, this ain't what I want. I don't
Right,
want to
right,
be here
right,
at
right,
all.
right.
So the whole saying of "be careful what you wish for,"
Yeah,
there's a reason that that's a saying, and that there's a lot of truth to that.
right,
So you can't. There's nothing out there that is going to make what is going on inside of you go away. You have to deal with it, man.
right.
And we're like I said, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a lot more about that in the future, um, and really try to I don't know if I want to say bring it to the forefront. We have a little community here, but I think sometimes it helps to hear, to just have things reinforced. And in our profession, man, you know as I was saying, before you got on, I was just talking about, like, everybody thinks we just up here having fun and it's just the greatest thing ever.
Right.
You know, and it's the furthest thing from the truth a lot of times. It's like,
Yeah.
this is work. This is work.
Right.
And it's the same job that you do, but sometimes we don't know when our next job is going to come. So
Right.
you cats dealing with that kind of stress,
Right.
or so there's a lot of things, man. But one thing that was on my mind, our conversation last week, man, was great, and we got a lot of great feedback from it, and just a lot of the wisdom that you were um speaking about. And one thing that I started to think about was, cats come up to me. I just had someone come up to me on my gig on Monday and ask me about how to get gigs. How do you get gigs? How do you do that? How do you And at the time, I couldn't really answer that question, because I was like, man, I wish I could tell you the here's what you do, but it's such a complicated, it's such a complicated answer, because there's a lot of different reasons and a lot of ways to get gigs. But you were the cat. Man, cats be mad at Marcus, man. Marcus have a long, steady somewhere 7 nights.
Yeah.
He have a long 5 night. Don't have to move nothing. Same spot. Playing with great musicians. Be like, man, how Marcus get all this stuff, man? Marcus always got this and got that.
Right.
So uh so let's pick your brain a little bit about, just first, if you're trying to get on the scene, and what are some things, some recommendations that you would have for people who are trying to break in, uh and try to maybe do this for a living?
Yeah. First of all, you have to have certain skills together and know what kind of gig you're trying to get. So if you're trying to get an R&B gig, make sure you know the top 50 or 100 songs, the correct beats and tempos. Make sure you know dynamics. Make sure you know and be on time, set up and well prepared. Make sure you make friends with your fellow musicians. Relationships is everything in this business. Um, I'm friends with all of the folks. We have fun when we play. I compliment them. They compliment me. I don't, man, we was grooving. That thing you did when we went into that bridge, man. And they were like, yeah, but you made me, you did this roll, and I just got this feeling. And we just, hey, yeah, we went on in. And it was like, dang, you have a good time and you have fun. And you got to be prepared. So, okay, just think like this. When you go out and you want to take your wife or your girlfriend to a restaurant, what makes you want to go to the certain restaurant you pick? Is the professionalism of the waitresses, the quality of the food, the way
Mhm.
they greet you and treat you makes you feel upper class.
Right.
Don't think they just like that. They prepared for their restaurant to be have that kind of so they can get these kind of people that come
Mhm.
there just because they want to treat them. They get a great experience there. Okay, but you go to your local soul food restaurant and the waitress over there on the phone having you need sugar and something else. And excuse me. So are you gonna go back to that restaurant? Is that gonna be one of your first people you call? If you the person that got your stuff together like the restaurant, that's cool, people are gonna call you. But if they in a tough crunch and ain't nobody else they can call, they'll call you, but they know it's some things coming with calling you. You may
Right.
not know the music. You may not be on time. You may not be dressed right. You may have a bad attitude, but you the only one there. But then you be like, man, why y'all don't call me on some gig? I've been doing this. I can play. No, that's the problem. You got to check yourself and stop blaming other people. And then when you go to gigs, I used to go to gigs with the cats that's working, and I'd sit there and I'd say, okay, how does this dude? I see. I don't get mad because he's not playing all this stuff. And people allow if you play a groove and you keep a groove and don't do a whole lot of stuff, you're boring. You're not doing right. Yes, I am. I'm doing what this song called for. I remember one time at the Apache, I was playing. I went up to play, and it was a singer, a female singing a ballad. I'm playing the groove. Did you know some dude walked up and got the sticks from me? I wasn't doing enough, but they almost beat him up that night. But that taught him a lesson. It's like play the groove because everybody down at the Apache was on a ballad. Man, what is that?
Yes.
That doesn't call for it. Don't call for that. So when that late girl gets out and does a gig, who you think she gonna call?
Right.
Because I concentrated when you playing with a vocalist, you listen to what the vocalist is doing. You listen how she's doing her thing. You build it when you hear her voice is building it. When you think it gets to a point, you break it down where it's soft, where she can talk soft, but no, nothing fancy. But the groove is still there. The crowd is vibing. You cool, and it's like none of that crazy stuff is going on. It's moments for that, but people do drummers do so much now. When they take a solo, it does not impress me because you did all the same thing through the whole song and you're doing it all night. So when you do have your solo, nothing special. But I love being a situation. You got to be a chameleon as a musician, no matter what you play.
Right.
You ain't on if you're on a gig where all you doing is boom, 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 boom. That's what you do. You playing the
Right.
gig.
You're playing the gig.
You're playing the gig. And then the next time the same people go, yeah, oh yeah, I saw him. He was playing with this band. They sound good. But they not saying, oh, he bad playing. The band sound good. The band comes first.
The
And then you
band.
go to another
Right.
situation, and this dude is and in the right situation, fusion thing, and you go, oh my God, I didn't know you could do all of that. Exactly. My point exactly. I've had people that see me on gigs. I'm just playing simple. And then they see me on a fusion gig. And wait a minute. Where did that come from? Then you see me on a straight ahead gig. I'm doing other stuff. And then you'll see me on the R&B gig. I'm just grooving.
Right.
Being with the SOS band. And that's how I play with so many different people. Because I listen to all types of music. If you're going to be a musician or a drummer, Don't be just a jazz drummer. Don't be just a R&B or hip hop or trap or this and this. But be a drummer. Learn everything. At least get the basics of everything. People call you, you be like, I remember I was at the Cafe 290 one night, and this white lady sat in and wanted to do a swing song. They threw the sticks at me like they had dynamite in their hand. Nobody could swing. They was like,
Right.
I was like, what is wrong with y'all?
Man.
This was way back. This is I think that was in the late 90s or something. And I was like, this is crazy. If you know how to play everything, that's how you get work.
Man, I mean, I don't even know where to begin on that one, because is it? I know there's a fear when it comes to learning something new. That's just, I think, how a lot of people are. Is you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and you're gonna have to go back to baby steps because you don't know. So if you start picking up different styles, now, yes, some styles, they have their own language.
Right.
Okay, you can talk about whether it's bebop straight ahead, or if it's Afro-Cuban, or it's Brazilian, or don't say you can play that stuff unless you can really play it,
Right.
because you're gonna get found out real
Oh,
quick
quick.
by the right people. Now, you can pass on some other on some people that they just do whatever like you do, but we're talking about here getting the gig, not just playing with the weekend warriors down the street at the bar around the corner.
Right.
So you have to be authentic.
Yep.
And the only way to be authentic is to put the time in
Right.
to whatever it is that you're studying.
Yeah.
And you have to go and listen to the cats who can do that. You
Right.
might not be able to do it right now, but if you put the time in and if you listen to the right people, it's gonna start making sense, man. It's gonna start making sense. It's like looking at a painting. You
Yeah.
you look at a painting, first time you ever see one, all you're gonna see is what's right in front of you.
Right.
You buy that painting, you put it on the wall. Every day you look at it, you're gonna start seeing little different things inside the painting that you never even noticed.
Right.
The more and more that you look at that, the amount of depth that starts to happen is like, man, I'm seeing 100 things in this painting that I've never.
Right.
Same thing with this, with what we do. It's the same thing. It's like if you're studying styles that are foreign to you at first, of course it's going to be hardest. You're not going to recognize, but you have to just sit there and listen. Trust your ear. Listen, 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 listen. You got to do more listening than you do playing anyway at first.
Let me tell you how I learned a lot of stuff. Back when they had phonograph records and cassette tapes, I would put on. I'm gonna tell you, you could stack them on top of each other, and when that one fall, the next one fall down, and it comes up the top of the next record.
That's
And
right.
the next one fall down, and so I would have Curtis Mayfield, then I'd have Billy Cobham fall down, and then I would have Parliament Funkadelic fall down. Then I'd have a jazz, another jazz artist fall down. Then I would put on a rock tune. Then I'd have Earth, Wind and Fire live. Then I'd have George do, and then I'd put on just this stuff, and I would play along with it.
Right.
Sometimes I started over when I'm not getting sung, and I play along with it. And after I've played along with it, and I lock in to the basic groove of what the song is, then I go and I listen to it, and I listen to what the drummer did, and I was like, oh, he wasn't doing as much as I thought he was doing, because I was playing. Then you listen, and you go, oh, okay. And when you lock into these grooves and the feel of what these songs are playing, it gets into you. And so, like we were saying a little earlier, you have a fear of going into the unknown, but you don't have to go into the unknown because the time you sitting at home not doing nothing, you can make that say if you know
Right.
you got to work on this kind of music, put the daggone music on, sit down, and start playing with it. Some
Right.
earphones, just listen to it. And if you get confused, sit there and listen for a while. And you listen what he's doing, how he
Right.
the ghost notes, how he doing, how hard is he hitting the snare and the kick. It might not be it might do pop do pop.
Right.
That's how the record sound. It ain't going to pop to do pop to do like a hip hop or something. It's
Right.
is that you got to get that feeling. So when you get approached with a song that has that character, that comes back in you. And so
Right.
you're not thrown. The only thing you get thrown, you don't have that much of a fear of the unknown. The next thing you do, you watch live shows. You have YouTube.
Man,
Any kind of music, any
go
live
see it. Go
to
see
watch.
anybody you want.
You can watch how they do it live, see what they do, and you're like, oh, he's not doing that, but it sounds good. And that's how you get it. That's what I did. So when and if I know, I used to go see straight ahead drummers because the old dudes told me, yeah, go ching, 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 keep your hi hat going, but they don't know the whole thing. They know that's part of the,
Right.
just getting
Right.
started with it. And
Right.
so, but I knew the guys that were doing it, and I seen them, and I would go and see him and sit and watch him, and like, oh, look at what his left hand. Oh, and I'm hearing why he's doing his left hand like that, or what's going on with the keys and the so and the vocal and the dynamics of what he's doing, and how he's working the toms and the kick between this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So one time, Richard Groove Holmes, famous organ player, got all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 18 years old. Now I can do all this solo stuff, Bill Connolly stuff, but he going, and I'm the only one that they thought could do the gig. But I didn't know who the hell Richard Groove Home was, and I ain't never heard none of his music. And plus, I ain't really been playing that stuff. So I get up there, it's just me and him. And I'm playing, and I'm like a fish out of water. I'm trying to hit the ding, 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 ding. And so this guy in Birmingham that I used to go see, when I tell you I went to go see these guys play straight ahead, he came to the show because, you got Richard Groove
Yeah.
Home. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, oh, hell no. And then I saw him. I said, here, take these sticks. And I went and sat down. And when he started playing it, because he knew the songs and stuff, it all hit me.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to be. And I wasn't just so big and proud that I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna make the money. No, I took it as a learning experience. This dude knows what he's doing. Come up here, make this money, do this, and I need to watch and learn. And I did. So
Right.
you can't be just I'm gonna accept the gig and you ain't good for the gig. That's why you're not gonna get called again either. You only got one time to make a first impression. And if you go up there unprepared, just thinking I need to make this money, but you act you don't know nothing, you don't even know how the grooves go, and you trying to play this and you playing the wrong thing, they're not calling you no more.
Man.
So if you don't know something and you don't know it, don't accept the gig. Learn that. Take that time to learn that genre of what you was doing. So the next time they call you, be like, oh, okay, yeah, I think, oh yeah, I can make it. You got it. You got it more than going in blind. And that makes a big difference.
Don't accept the gig.
Right.
I mean, I had a second part to how to get the gig, and you just hit it on. It's like everybody's a star, man. Everybody thinks now they can do anything because you can post 30 seconds on social media
Right.
and all these people from all around, fire emojis, hand claps,
Right.
uh, killing. Oh, you're a genius.
Right.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, but don't know how to play music. You
Right.
know, I'm not here to we're not here to bash on social media because social media is everywhere. Everybody uses it. Everybody has to have some sort of social media. You know, you're kind of trying to keep up on whatever. But I've seen situations, man, where people are on stage that should not be on stage at
Yeah.
all.
Right.
Have no concept of how to play with a band, play with a singer, play, with seasoned musicians.
Right.
And but because of the they have so many followers, they get on these gigs because people will use, oh man, this cat is got so many, he gonna bring all these people to the gig. I gotta put him on the gig.
Ain't no drummers coming to the gig to see you play when they can see you every day on Facebook doing your 30 seconds. And the first thing about it is you can do all of that, but you ain't no good to nobody else that's on the gig that the artist that's paying, they ain't paying you to do no chops. My biggest thing for people who's doing stuff, learn the song, learn the beat like that. Don't do anything else more. If the artist tell you to do something, give me a little bit more here on this bridge. And then you go in there, that impressed them more than you just busting out. I've been in a lot of auditions and saw drummers just crash and burn. Cause they get up there and do they bad. Yeah, they bad. They
Mhm,
bad as a mug. They're great
mhm.
solo. But my gig, I'm playing saxophone and I'm playing, and I need that groove like on the record behind me. And that is good, but you ain't giving that to me. See you later. Bye, bye, bye,
Why?
bye.
I mean, but why is that? Okay, when did playing for the song go out of style, though, Marcus? When I'm trying I'm thinking, trying to think back. This is on my mind. I recently just watched the Luther Vandross documentary, and what hit me, I mean, obviously, the obvious things about Luther was, but hearing some of those tempos, man,
Yeah, it's a, it's a beautiful thing.
man, and I was like, do you know? I was, talking to my wife. It's like, do you know how hard it is to play that tempo, that superstar? Man,
Right.
do you have any idea the pain that you have to endure to get comfortable with so much space between every note? Because when there's that much space between the
Right.
notes, our natural as a drummer is to what? Fill it up somehow. I gotta fill this, but I gotta play something in there. But to let that go and just have all of that space and play only
Right.
what's needed, man, that is an art that has gone by the wayside. I'll say it again, dude. I mean, I remember seeing a band. I can't remember exactly where it was, but the band was playing "Sweet Thing."
Mm-hmm.
Man, the drummer was soloing through. I'm like, this is "Sweet Thing."
Right.
I'm talking about through the whole. I mean, just the whole thing
Whole thing.
was, and I was like, man, who is allowing this? Like, how? Why would you? Now they probably up there with other, maybe young other cat that don't know the difference, but I was just kind of embarrassed because I was like, it's like, man, why would you even, if you heard that song one time, what would make you play that way. I'm not saying you have to do exactly like what is on the record, but I mean, you have to honor the melody and honor the song, honor
I'm
the
gonna tell
feel
you
of
what
the
make them
song,
play
and
that
honor
way.
the lyrics.
Yeah, I'll tell you what make them play that way. Now, everybody has been on a road trip, right? Everybody took the car on a road trip, right?
Right?
So speed limit used to be 55, now it's 65.
Right.
But you've been doing 85 and 95 all this time. Then when the police come up and you see them and you go back down to 65, it feels like you're going so slow because you've been used to going 95 for an hour or two. So these mugs been going 95. So when you got something that go, boom, tap, they be like, oh, they say they can't just go. This like you can't. You know how hard that is. You've been driving and you slow down. It feels like you're going 30 miles an hour when you're going 55 or 60. And this is what has happened. They got so many chopped, and it's great. The stuff is great. Anything is great, but if you misuse it, it's no good to anybody.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell y'all this: you guys that's doing that, try this for me. Try it one time on a gig. Don't do as much. Play the song. Try to be tasteful without doing. I don't care how the urge feel. Try to do that. Try to do simple stuff, and then at times put that thing in there every once in a while. But boom, oh yeah, that was nice. And then you back to the stuff. Do that and watch what happens with people when they talk to you when you finish. It ain't that you that bad, and they know you got. It's the whole concept of you make and the whole band is sounding good. You making the whole band and everybody as a group. It's the best compliment when they say, y'all sound great.
Right.
Instead of like, you was killing and when you did that and blah, blah, blah. No, well, I don't know. The keyboard player was sitting over there looking like this. He looking like that because you every damn well. The bass player sitting up there like, I'll be glad when this gig's over here. You everywhere. They're not enjoying themselves. So do that and listen to your surroundings. Mix. You got to mix the band, the volumes and all of that stuff, the dynamics, all on you. That used to impress me so much when I went to see these big groups, man. And the drummer just in there, and he's just doing it, and the groove was so killing. And he's accenting, he's looking at the lead singer and the singers, and they know when to break it down. And he does this, and it's just impressed me so much. The things that he wasn't doing. And then when he did a solo, I was like, oh yeah, that's great. It might not have been a killer solo, but it was more than he was doing, and it was tasteful and what he did. Right. And if he'd have been doing some crazy stuff all night, I'd been like, okay.
It just wears you out, doesn't it?
Leave from the parking, everybody start leaving out the parking lot. We can get out of here because it's gonna be a traffic jam. Okay, bye. He's still going off over there.
It's the same thing as, I sort of try to. I use this analogy. It's like somebody just, constantly talking to you with no break, no rest in between.
Yeah.
Just talking, and you like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. By about, after a few minutes of that, man, you're like, okay,
You'll make up a lie to leave. You'll make up a lie to leave. You will see. And you know what? I got to pick my wife up from work. Damn it.
It's the same. It's the same thing, man. And we're not just talking about drummers here. I've heard bass player does not want to play the roots. You hear these, they got 10-string bass, and they want to play all 10 strings. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it's like what has happened to playing a role in the music,
Right.
right? Playing a role in the music so that the music, the everything can sound good, not just you.
Right.
You know, gospel music has, I mean, it's man,
It's the
talk
new
about
fusion.
it's the new fusion without, but Marcus, without the vocabulary, the vocabulary to interact on a conversational
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
It's just a free for all.
Right.
I'm throwing they it's just like a gunfight to me. It just
Yeah.
bullets flying
Right.
and I'm ducking. And it's
Right.
like 7 in the morning, and I'm like, why are y'all in here with a gunfight?
Yeah.
It's 7 in the morning. Can we just play? Can we play these tunes?
Right.
Let the preacher preach and go, and then we can go home.
Right.
It's but it's survive. It becomes survival of the fittest, man. And I it's like that's why I don't enjoy. I'm like, man, you know what? I know 10 guys that play this stuff a lot better than I do. Let me give you everybody's number right
Right.
here
Right.
because I don't want to be involved in this, man.
Uh-huh.
So what his, just that whole I think part of it is just the lack of discipline of learning just what you were talking about, having multiple records stacked
Right.
and you listening to everything and you're trying to learn, okay, what is in this style, what do I do on this kind of song, what do I do? I think the whole listening has been eliminated. I'm talking
Right.
about they hear it,
Right.
they they hear that stuff. Okay, this how I go, but I'm gonna do my thing.
Right. Okay. And they asked me answer that all of y'all, every musician, ask yourself this. Do you hear all that stuff when they play these songs on the radio? No.
Mm,
You hear you don't hear you ain't on the record. The machine is on the record. That's why they sell all these records and the record become a hit. Only when you get out there and start playing it, everybody got to do all of this stuff. But when I go hear something, I want to hear the record first. Maybe later on in the show, on the song, they might have a part where y'all just go off and do some crazy thing.
mm,
It means something then, but
mm,
it just don't mean nothing. I went and saw, man, every time I see some of these girls, like I had Usher Live. My boy that was playing that Usher Live DVD was killing, but he was playing just so much. He'd start, like if they got a kick, he'd start 2 bars before the kick hit. And then 2 bars later, after he done hit the kick, I'm like, wait a minute. Just for that, you started 2 bars before, played that, and finished 2 bars later, and got a nerve to look like, well, look what I did. I'm sitting up there going, I'm just done left the whole song. And I listened to that. I looked at the DVD one time and I threw it away. One time and threw it away. I've done a lot of DVDs like that. I've bought drummers' albums and it just was too much in it. They're good, but it was just too much. I threw it away. I just like get in the car and it would be in my place when I had a DVD. I mean a CD, and it would get in my car and I crank the car and I don't feel like hearing that. Then I put on that Luther and go,
right.
something smooth and just what a grooving. Put my mind. Maybe that might be a part of this mental health thing going on too. Too much ruckus in the music, boys. Make you go crazy.
But do you think that's just? I mean, because songwriting has changed so much. You got 25 people on one song listed as a writer, and there ain't but four lyrics in the whole song.
Right.
So the I think the whole market for great songs is just so different now. So and with all of the cutting and pasting, and you can't really tell like who played on what anymore. I
Right.
don't You used to be able to know, oh, that's Harvey Mason. That's gotta be
Oh
Mason. Oh,
yeah.
that's
Oh
gotta
yeah.
be
Yeah.
is that James Gads? That's gotta be Gads.
Yeah.
That's
You
gotta
know.
be Gad. Oh, that's
Oh,
gotta
you
be
knew. You knew. You knew
and
who it would be.
that whole like concept has changed because okay, I laid some tracks for a record probably 4 months ago. It's just now kind of getting around to getting mixed. And luckily, there was somebody that was there during the mix process that was kind of monitoring the drum sounds because I wasn't there. So, and I had done a tune where I had put like a little tea towel on the snare drum and might have tea towels on everything, but I was trying to get, that real 70s
Right. Yeah.
kind of music, kind of dead kind of sound. And it fit with the song perfectly. And everybody was like, man, this sounds amazing, yada yada yada. But during the mix, the cat was like, I guess he had forgot. He was like, man, that snare drum sounds dead. What's wrong? What's going? He's about to replace my sound. He's about to do some sound replay. And luckily my man was there. He was like, what are you doing? No, that's what we wanted for that song.
Right.
But it's just, man, everything now is that whole everything gotta be clean and perfect, and all the vibe is taken out of the track.
Right. Right.
You know, everything's gotta be fixed.
Right.
Everything has to, and it's like, man, the whole like feeling of ebb and flow and breathing. The songs don't breathe in it because everything is on the grid. Now you do a lot of tracking. You got a great studio, great setup. You do a ton of recordings every year and stuff like that. And it's like, and you coming from an old school approach and knowing drum sound and you what has happened with that? Because that's part of the issue too, is like, no, everything has to be so perfect that I think people they don't feel the music like they used to.
Yeah. That's why it's a lot of music that was out 3, 4, 5 years ago. You don't hear it no more
Right.
because they use the same sounds. They use to get they all in the same. You don't know who the hell it is until maybe they start singing.
Right.
Usually, it used to be when people got together, real human beings got together, collaborated in the studio, bass, drums, keys, this, and got this groove together and got that feel together. And according to who you got, that's who made this sound. That's why when they start playing out, they could start up bam bam boom boom. You be like, oh, that's so and so and so. Oh yeah, I know. I I
Right.
I know his footprint. Man.
Instantly.
I know all
Instantly.
the this is oh, that's the Yellow Jacket. Turn that up.
You're
That
right.
must be new. They
Right.
ain't did nothing. Oh, that's Confunction. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because they got their own sound. They got their own people that made their own sound. Not everybody wants that same kick drum, that same snare, that same hi-hat, that same or something, some of the same beat, the same way, and you don't,
Same beat.
yeah, the same beat, and then you don't know who it is until somebody's singing. Maybe. And it's generic, it's really generic and what they call in commercial. But it's a difference between home cooking and processed food. Once you live off processed food for a long time, if you've been on the road and you come back home and you go to grandma's house or your own house and they cook you something, you be like, oh my God.
Right.
Oh, this is This is y'all got to give me some more. But that processed food, you be like, yeah, okay, I'm through with this. Let's go. You get more
Right.
processed food. They ain't doing nothing for you. Everybody
Right.
doing it.
Right.
But that home
Right.
cooking, everybody, grandma got her touch to that apple pie. That no, this one, no, this grandma may not. Hers ain't gonna taste like grandma and auntie and mama and wife or whoever. You got to let her do some of this green collard greens for you. I'm telling you, and the so and so that's it. You go to every McDonald's, they gonna taste the same. Everybody eating the same food.
That is
So
so true.
and
Yeah.
you gotta have the courage to leave that, and the person that comes up with the newest thing makes the money and gets the recognition. Everybody else gonna fall in behind what you did.
Right.
Like when T-Pain did his thing. Now every record came out since that. Yeah, man, got the auto tune, doing the little things. When they came up with that thing, I remember when they came up with that. Every song come out there. Now everybody got same sound. Everybody jumping on it.
Same, man. I saw this dude on YouTube. He was talking about the top songs on Spotify or whatever. Top 10, 20, well, however many. I can't remember how many he did, but it was like the same song. It
Same
was,
song.
and he was just like, man, how many times can I hear this same tempo? They don't even change the tempo. At least change the tempo.
Right.
Same tempo. Same intro format. However
Yeah.
long the same, similar uh lyric content,
Right.
whatever the flavor of the day is.
Right. Right.
Uh and definitely the same delivery in
Yeah.
how, you know, however they're singing that's like a big thing that I've noticed is
The acrobatic vocal
yeah,
stuff.
I'm like, man, who wants to listen to, but I get it. It's music is it's not a part of as much a part of human life as it used to be. It used to be, man, your records, man, you guard your records with your life. I mean, your records were how you judged another person. Like, you
Right.
want to know what's in their record collection. Like,
Right.
let me go over here and see what's in this cat's record collection and see if we can be friends. Like
Right.
that was a big part of how we saw each other was
Right.
type of music you listen to. Now it's like it's just more of a pastime thing, or which is why a lot of live bands are struggling looking for work because people want I just want it to sound like my computer because that's what they're used to hearing. So that when they hear a real band, it's like, look, man, we got real drums up here, we got amplifiers. It's going to be a little bit louder than your computer,
Right.
you know. But people aren't used to that anymore. They don't because there's not a lot of places that that have live music like they used to.
Right. And they don't have the discipline, and just like you said, to know how to go about creating something that's really never been heard.
Mm,
Like I saw this interview with Miles Davis. He was getting an interview, and he said, they were like, "How do you come up with these things that's just so unique and so and so?" He's like, "Stop listening to everybody's stuff.
right,
Cut the radio off. Get into yourself. What's coming
right,
out of you? What do you feel?
right,
You
right.
feel." I'll listen to the radio, and I'll be listening to some of the jazz stuff and some of the other stuff, and I hear a groove, and I cut the radio off, and I hear this groove. Oh, it's a different kind of groove, but it just, and then I come home and I start working on it.
Mm-hmm.
All my stuff sounds different. None of the
Mm-hmm.
songs sound the same at all. Out of all 80 songs or so that I've written, none of them sound different. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
same. None of
Same.
them sound the
Mm-hmm.
same. It's like, What the hell? Because like George Duke was like that. Look at George Duke. He put out Brazilian music, stuff that sounded like Parliament Funkadelic, fusion, R&B. He put it all out. And he's one of the greats, and he put the people in there that made it feel good, that he knew that can make these songs feel good. He knew who he needed to call when he was doing the fusion stuff. He knew who he needed to call to when he was doing this, and he knew who he needed to call when he went on tour to play all of this stuff. What drummer or what musicians can play all of these styles together? I know who to call when I'm doing this.
Right.
You know, because they deep into this stuff, they huge into that. But you know, he didn't call Billy Cobham to do Sweet Baby.
Right. Exactly.
You see?
Exactly. Not that he couldn't play that, not that he couldn't do it.
He wouldn't have had the right feel on it.
Exactly.
And he would have had to go, watch me play, baby. That's Billy Cobham. You pull, you know, that's it. Right. And you know, Harvey Mason brings a thing. He ain't gonna call Harvey Mason to do that heavy fusion stuff. Harvey Mason, let's go listen to Foreplay. Listen to Foreplay stuff and go back and listen to some of that Dave Grusin stuff and Captain Fingers with Harvey Mason on it. He's playing fusion, but he's playing it in a way that's so music. He's not doing a lot.
Right.
What we'd fill up, and I sit there in amazement when I listen to that, and I go, he just said, ping, ping, ping. And it was like, it sounds so good to me. He didn't go, bing, bing, bing. He said, ping, ping.
That's confidence. That's confidence, though.
Dang, that's cool. Listen to Foreplays and all of that stuff. Do some deep diving into Harvey Mason for a while.
Yeah.
That cat will teach you how, just listen to the way he approached music. Some stuff I'll be like, I wouldn't have never thought of that groove like he just did.
Never thought of that.
And I was like, but it's him. He's him. He's authentic. And the cat is on thousands of records.
Right.
For real. And all of the Steve Gadd. Steve Gadd played on everything from Chaka Khan to Chick Corea.
Right.
Everybody. Rock. There was 50 ways to leave your lover. Hell. Right. I wouldn't have approached it like that. They were like, I'd probably be going, take that pie, 50 ways to leave. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, like, thanks, man. We gonna get this other cat in here right quick, man, to kind of see what he got. You know,
right? So, and I've been in sessions being an engineer where it'd been like somebody being here playing the thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, man, yeah, then, and then when everybody, hey, who else can we get to play this part? He wasn't cutting it, no. No, that was just not good. He was good the last time he did. Yeah, but I don't know what happened. He was good, but he just went somewhere. You know, get so and so in here. Okay, get them in here. Wow. So yeah, so I'm telling you, I love what you younger guys are doing, but you got to bring it under control,
right?
And if you want gigs. And I can't say this enough, and if you know how to cook anything, I don't care if it's eggs or something, if you over season that egg or whatever you cooking and that you taste it and it's like that, you lost that's what you're doing when you overplay when you go to an artist. Right. Cook the egg first. Right. Taste the egg like it is. Lightly sprinkle a little something in and be like, oh, yeah, that's good. But if you put too much in that thing, you can't take that back. And you're not going to get called for gigs unless you're the last person alive that they can get for the gig. And we're just going to pray that, Lord, he can get through that. So
No, no truer
I mean,
words
I
than
love what
yours.
they're doing, man. I'll be on there liking stuff because some of
Right.
these guys got taste and do
Yeah.
that stuff in it, and they'll do this stuff on a certain part, and they'll come back and just play that groove, and like, oh, they with the musical director making them do these other little
Yeah.
pam, 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 but they
Yeah.
do it, but they ain't overdoing it. They ain't
Yeah.
starting bars before and ending 5 bars after they do it. They play it and then they go back to the groove. They're keeping the groove. Sticks Taylor is a great example. He's very musical with what he does. You know, he's a young guy that does very, very musical at what he does. And if you do that, stop trying to be a star, because not trying to be a star and playing what you're supposed to play will make you a star.
Man, the individualism is just killing me, man. I mean, how much more do we need to see of that 30-second note triplet flam with the paradiddle on the end and the
I'm burnout. Sometimes now I just go through it and I
I
see it.
mean,
I scroll up to the next. Okay, god dang it. Then the ones that I do, they'll be grooving first, and I'll be like, oh, it's this one they just had at the NAM show. There was a Nord. They were playing for Nord. These black, I don't know who that was. You seen these guys quick, but they was like, bam, they were just grooving, just hard. I'm like, yes, 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 yes.
I think I saw that,
You
man. I
seen
think I know
that?
what you're talking. I think so. I think I know what
And
you're
I
talking
was
about.
like, that is killing. And boy, just when you do that, I was just sitting there going, oh God.
And it's so much so it threw me off because I was like, wait a minute. It threw me off because there was nothing else happening, you
Right.
know. So it was kind of like I didn't know how to feel. I was like,
And he was calling bridge. Well, let's go to that bridge. And they go, everybody was playing these parts, and he was doing the thing. The drummer was just laying back in there. Just everything was just, they were locked so hard. They were locked so
man,
hard. It was
man,
crazy.
man. Hey, man, it's quick's there.
Yeah, over here. Quick.
Quick over here, man.
They're being summoned quick.
Man, this cat always hide, man, in incognito. What's up, man?
Hey, brother, what's happening?
I was thinking about you the other day, man. How you
Oh,
doing?
good, man. Everything's good, man. Yeah, how
Good,
you?
man.
Everything all
I'm
right?
doing all right, man. Trying to,
Yeah.
And see,
trying to
quick,
do this thing.
he the pocket man.
And he just like I was like, wait a minute, you said quick. I was like, it's quick there the whole time, and he hadn't even said anything.
Yeah,
I
he
was like,
said. Nah, he was over there giggling though. He was giggling like hell for some of the stuff.
man, this cat. All the gigs. That's what we call him. Stacy, all the gigs. Quick Ellis.
You know who
Come
got
on,
more
man.
gigs than anybody and couldn't do all of that crazy stuff? Ricky Lawson.
Yes, sir.
On all of the biggest hits you want to get. And wasn't doing nothing but grooving. Michael Jackson to Eric Clapton to Yellow Jack to everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, quick, I gotta get you on the show, man. We gotta talk.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up, man, so we can get we gotta get your perspective on a couple of things, man. So
okay.
I'll be reaching out to you.
Yeah, sounds good, brother.
All right, man. Good to see you.
Yes,
okay.
sir. You too.
All right, man. Okay. Oh man. Hey, we done started something here, man. So
good.
I got some great, yeah. So but thanks for coming on again, man. Co-hosting, man. We it's kind of a rough a rough day. And so it was good to get some laughs in, get some talking, man, just talking through things, man. I mean, that's
right.
Another thing that we have to do. And sometimes we forget to do that, man. You hold it in. And your all of that stuff just builds up.
Right.
It just builds up.
You got to get it out. You got to get it out.
You got to get it out.
Talking, I'm gonna sleep good as hell tonight.
Absolutely.
I let out a lot of stuff I've been holding in for a while. But you know what? You got to cut. You got to for something to heal, you got to, you know, they'll re-break your daggone arm to set it right. So you got to go through a
Right.
little pain to make something heal and get it right. I don't
Right.
mind saying what I feel because I don't really care unless you pay all my bills. And even if you did, I wouldn't care either. I still do it. But
That's
look, if you want to, if you look up to me and what I'm doing, listen good to what I say about the thing. It works. Like if I was a big billionaire that made my money in investments and know how to do that, and you came to me for investment advice, you'd listen and do what I said.
right.
I'm telling you, it has turned into a competition instead of
Right.
music and having fun. It's a
Well
competition.
said. Well said.
And it's got to be out of a competition. When you get out of that, man, you'll be so much happier. And when you learn, you have to we got to get weaned off of all of this stuff you do. Save it. Save it for when it really counts.
Right.
It's just like if America got in a war with Russia or somebody else, and they just shot everything they had right then, and then we out of stuff.
Right. Right.
And ain't nothing. That's the best you got now.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Man, even on a competitive level, you're talking about sports, you're talking about, I mean, the ultimate competitor is tennis and golf because it's one man
Yeah.
against the field.
Yeah.
And there is no deeper mental warfare than those two sports is golf and tennis. Because you don't have anybody else to blame but yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
And but the thing about the only person you should be in competition with is yourself,
Right.
not other people. Even if you're dealing with in a team sport, it's still going to be about the team and it's about you getting better. Yes, you're trying to win the game and you want to win the game, et cetera, but you compete because you want to get better for yourself. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter what other people think about what you're doing, or because again, they're not you and they're not on your path. We thought you've been preaching that tonight, last week. Man,
Right.
your path is your path.
Yeah.
And you have to, but man, it's hard for cats to take that home and live with it because there's so many other I mean, I understand, man, the peer pressure and wanting to be in, and you don't have, your calendar is looking weak. You don't have got an open weekend and yada yada, and you start panicking and do it.
Right.
Man, what I gotta do? Okay, what I gotta do to get this? But like you said, you gotta trust in God. You gotta give back, right?
Right.
Which is part of the reason why I got into teaching. Was
Right.
I gotta give back. I gotta give back. Can't just keep it everything for myself. I have to share. I want to share it. Don't hoarding information. That leads to a lot of bad stuff. But a lot of people do it because they don't. Oh man, I don't want nobody to find out about this. Man, this is my secret. Man,
Right.
the greats all share information with each other. Man, that's how And you take the information, you do it how you do it. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
But we share information, we share ideas, share information, man. If we get back to that, we'll be a whole lot healthier, bro. That's just
right.
my opinion.
And there's nothing wrong with you go to yourself. Because I'm telling you what's going to happen. Somebody going to get this thing that I'm talking about. And they're going to be doing stuff. And the whole thing is going to change. And then all you mugs is over there doing this same thing that you did. Trying to struggle to get to somebody else that thought for themselves and then went on their own path, changed the sound of a record and a sound of music. Music is constantly changing. It is not going to stay like this. And you need to be prepared for it. Seek what's in you, man. It's stuff in you that God put in you. And it'll come out if you let it.
Right.
Just sit down and groove. I just get a groove and don't do no feels. Just keep that with nothing else playing. Just feel
Mhm.
it, not even a metronome. Just feel where that kick and that snare or whatever need to go. It could be right there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of room in there. Do that for, and you start getting into that feeling, and you start
Man,
feeling that thing. After a while, you've been there making faces like, oh dang, it feels good, man.
feels good, man. It feels
And when
good.
you do something, it's gonna mean something.
Right.
Like if you say stuff all the time and you talk all the time, and people run your mouth and saying all of that, people like, oh, don't worry about him. He ain't saying that. What you say? But he that sits over there and be kind of quiet and get in, say a couple of things. Then when he gets ready to speak, people like,
Yeah.
okay. Yo,
Mhm.
oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. What's the I'm gonna date us here, man. You remember the commercial E.F. Hutton talks when E.F.
Everybody
Hutton
listen when he
everybody listens.
speaks. That's right.
I want to be E.F. Hutton. I don't
That's
know if
right.
I don't think I've accomplished that yet, but I want to be E.F. Hutton, man. You
Yeah.
know, that's the goal. That's the
But
goal.
you play with taste. So you into the music, you play the music. Like when you came over here and did that session the last time you was over here, I was like, yeah, see, there you go. He's doing it. That's it. People call you, and I've referred you to gigs.
Mhm.
If I hadn't referred you to a gig, you need to think about it. Something has happened. Something has
Which
happened.
there's a shortage now, isn't there? Like who can I refer for this?
Like, who's it? No, I can't. No, I ain't gonna do this. Wait a minute. Damn. But
and there, and there's cats you forget about, man, that just because you just haven't seen somebody for so long, or out of sight, out of mind. But we get into that all the time. It's like, man, who can I refer? And
right,
you just wreck your mind because after you get past A, B, and C, it's like, well,
right,
you could try so and so, but I got to tell you something. This may happen, you
right.
know.
Yeah. And then look at me. I can't get called from one of these big old gigs, Usher and all of these stuff, because I can't play all of that stuff like they doing up in there, and I won't do it anyway, because they probably fire me because I was grooving too much anyway. But I know I can't do that like they doing it, and I'm like they doing the hell out of it. It might
Right.
be irritating us and stuff, but they are playing the hell out of it. And they are precise and right on it. But I know for myself, they don't call me. I'm like, nigga, I
Don't
gotta
call me, man.
call what you call. Cause I know me, I can't do that. I got my lane. I got my lane. Let Eric Clapton or somebody call me. Hell, I'll go. But don't call me for that because I
Man,
get cool, but
I
I
got
ain't go
I
there.
got called for this big mega church thing this one time, man. Bro, I was like, at first, because I said, look, man, when he sent me the stuff, I was like, hey man, I don't really play like this, you know. Oh no, man, it's cool. You can kind of do your own thing, man. It's just, But when push came to shove and we got in that rehearsal to rehearse the music at 7 o'clock in the morning, they wanted everything that was on there. I said, wait a second. You told me I could do well,
Right,
yeah, but you gotta have this part. You gotta, and I was like, bro, look, I'm gonna get you through this service. But
right,
after this service, I'm gonna give you three names that you can call.
right,
No, man, I like the but we like you. We like the way you was on time and you was. I said, man, I don't. This not my thing.
right. Yeah, you got to know
I
your
got
limitations too.
I got some other cats you can call
That's
if you
right. I
need a
got
referral.
somebody that can do that.
Do not call me for this. This is not what I do. And I'm not about to bust my tail trying to do it. because this is not me, man. It's a funny story, man. There's more to it. I'll tell you
Okay.
offline sometime. But that's the gist of it, man. I was like, don't. I said, man, y'all, I got somebody. Call this cat.
Call
Don't
him.
call me.
And that takes me
Don't
back
call
what
me.
we said earlier. Don't accept a gig if you can't do
Don't
it.
accept
I'm
the
not
gig.
accepting. No. I know it pay $8,000 a week. I ain't accepting it because I won't be there a week.
You're gonna be dead
week.
trying to make the 8,000 a
Right.
week because you're not gonna be able to do it.
I ain't gonna even
So,
be there a week. Time I get in the first rehearsal, they said, okay, let's go. Can I at least get lunch today for coming? Damn, I knew I shouldn't have came. So, so I know that daggone much. Yeah.
oh man, you killed me, man. Hey man, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off, man. It's another pleasure, man. Thank you for joining us, man. And co-hosted, man. We got many more to do, man. So
Yeah, we need to get all this stuff out. We got all kind of lanes we can talk about.
absolutely,
And,
absolutely, man.
Y'all don't get upset about stuff that you said. So that's the main problem with folks. You get upset instead of, and you want to cast blame and excuses and stuff. No, you got to check yourself. Listen to this stuff. People don't make it as far and have long. I'm 64. I'm 64. A lot of y'all 25 and 30 and 19, 20. Last for 50 something years in this business, then sit here and talk and still work like hell. I'm telling you something that I've been through. The music is different, but the industry is still the same, and music is going to evolve and go take a spin and keep evolving, and it's up to you to make it evolve. Absolutely. So listen, don't take it hard. I'm praising you at the same time because you're killing what you're doing, but it's too much. It is just too much. And be musical, dynamic. Learn the tune and learn some other stuff. If you learn some other music, you will think different on even some of the stuff you playing because you got some other things in you.
That's the beauty of that, man, is you're gonna do stuff you never even you would have never thought about doing.
Right. If you learn Latin and you do some stuff, you could be playing a funk groove in this Latin feel kind of thing you do in this thing because like that you would have never done. Because it's in you now. Do that. And I'm telling you.
Put the work in. Put the work in. Put the work in.
That's it. Put the work in. It's nobody's not calling you because they just don't want to. No. They just like I said, when you make a decision to go to a car lot or a restaurant or to get something done, you go for a reason. You go for a reason. You pick a mate for a reason. You pick a certain look, a certain way they act, a certain way they talk because of that. The other ones, you be like, I ain't calling her. No, she crazy. No, but once you pick is the way what you want. It's the same thing with folks. So if you were on the other end and you got your own band and you had to pick musicians, and then you be saying, then it ain't as cool when they come in there doing your stuff all crazy. Like, no, that wasn't that way the record go. Do this.
Exactly.
Then you will make a decision to pick who really can play that stuff. And it might not be your friends that you've been gigging and doing all this other stuff with. When it comes to be serious and have to do something, when something really, really counts, you're going to be like, no, this dude right here, he going to play it. Because it's yours and you care more about it. You got to put care. Treat somebody else's stuff like it's yours.
That's exactly right, man.
Like you would want them to treat your stuff. If you want somebody to come in there and half know your stuff and you paying them, and that's your reputation at stake, you ain't gonna stand for it. So don't go in somebody's session and treat their music like it ain't nothing and you just do what you want to do and half know it. Do that. Your life will be a lot better.
And on that note, thanks everybody for coming in tonight. We had a special edition Thursday night. We were off. Didn't do anything on Tuesday, so wanted to try to get one in, and got blessed by my brother here, Marcus, coming in to co-host and give you guys, and pass this on. If you know young musicians, and you know, steer them to our show, man. We're on every Tuesday night. We're trying to add another night here and there. And we got some other things in the works too, but this is what we really want to do is we're trying to give back to the young musicians and give them some just some not trying to tell them what to do. All we're trying to do is share stories, share our experiences,
Right.
have some fun along the way, man. And we all made mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes. I mean, good
Right.
Lord. I messed
That's
up a
how we
whole
got to
bunch of
where we
stuff.
are today. You got to, you're going to make
Exactly.
mistakes, but
You're gonna make
you got to
mistakes.
learn from your mistakes.
Gotta learn from your mistakes, and then try to, just like Marcus said, man, you treat other people's music how you would want your music to be treated, and learn to play from, leave your ego at the door and play for the song. And if somebody wants more, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
But don't go out, don't give them everything.
Mm-mm.
You don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
You have nowhere to go. So, and that's something that we all have to learn, because you bright-eyed, bushy-tailed coming in young, the first thing you want to do is show off and show what you can do. But there's a time and place for that. And but learn fundamentals first. Less is always more. And man, I guarantee you'll get working in no time.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So condolences again to the Harper family, and the passing of our man Deshaun Harper. We really just feel terrible, and I've known these guys since they were kids, man.
Yeah, me too.
Kids. Just hanging around, could barely play, and to see the growth of Terrence and Deshaun and and their uncles, the master musicians, Philip and Winnard, and the parents, Terry and Dan. I mean, this just like, I mean, this is just a shock and a take a lot of processing, but condolences to the Harper family. We're going to have some shows coming up on mental health, and man, sometimes you got to leave your instrument and take care of some other stuff, man. It's not all about your instrument all the time. If you're not right, then that instrument's not going to be right. It can't be all about that. You got to have balance, have balance in your life. And that's the hardest thing, I think, especially for music, because you want to be great. So what do? We practice for hours and hours and hours by ourselves, Marcus. I mean, we're by ourselves so much because that's what it takes to be great. And your life can get out of balance quickly when you have that. But that's a hard thing, because you have to have that too. You have to block everything out. You have to have that tunnel vision. I have to do this. I have to work on this.
You look at the music. Look at I was looking at Kobe Bryant and all that. He get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He shoot 2,000 free throws. Man. I was looking at all of these athletes. They get up LeBron, he gets up and works out and then he goes does shots and shots and shots and shots, thousands and thousands of shots and shots. We don't our ethic in music, we don't do that no more. They used to have to throw me out the house. I practiced so much.
Mm-hmm.
I was just on the drum. I would just practice. I would just, and that's what we got. They got to do that. You got to stop accepting gigs to get high and make money and drink and chase the women.
Right.
And trying to get an endorsement and get free stuff and outplay everybody. You got to just get over that. You got to push back. I know it's kind of hard to push back after you've been doing that way for so long, but you got to push back and go back to the basic of what's going on with music.
Because things get toxic real quick.
Yeah. Think about the basics of what your instrument is supposed to play. Not the extra, the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in a bass line, a drum beat, keyboard, the chords, all of that's got a basic. It's either boom, boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 doom, ba-doom, boom, boom, boom. That's the basic. Do do da, do do da, do do. That's the basic with nothing extra. Groove on that without nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then adding the other stuff tastefully to it that goes along with that groove.
Stepping stones, man. It's everything is babies. It's baby steps. It's
just little things coming in there.
Right.
Not much.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, do that's what you got to do, man. I'm telling you. It's up to us to bring music back around to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, man.
And you young guys, you guys are the ones that's gonna do it.
Yeah, man.
You're the ones that's gonna do it. Right. And I'm gonna say it again too. And when you don't accept a gig and then you get on the gig and tell me they ain't paying me enough to do all this, you shouldn't accept the gig. Do what you gonna do and the best you can do it. You don't know who's sitting in this little old bar mitzvah that you playing, that you got to do this little crazy stuff that can take you to places you never thought you could go.
Mm.
You know, all these stars and superstars got cousins and relatives that's doing things and you don't even know they related to them. And they could be managers and big people. I mean, you just don't know. So you got to treat it like it's the best gig ever. If you don't feel like doing that, don't accept the gig, because that's another reason they ain't gonna call you, because people know when you ain't respecting the gig. So if you want to work, all of that comes into play, man. Right. Don't come in there smelling like weed. Don't come in there with your whole body smelling like weed.
Don't even get, man. Okay, see now you.
So it's that's a whole other thing. But I love y'all, man. We want everybody. We want things to get better. We ain't here to chop you down. We here to make it better.
Right.
So, you know, y'all good. You just got to control it.
Right.
You got to control it. I'm sitting here with a nuclear weapon and I'm just going to push the button. Hell no. Because I got a nuclear weapon don't mean I got to use it. But it's a time I have to use it, though. You push me. I got to push it.
Right.
But I held out. I made it. It was the right time when I used it. Okay. Y'all pushing the button too much.
All right, my man. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
I see you got a lot to say. That's good.
You pulling it out, man. You pulling it out.
Like I'm pulling. I knew y'all. I'm like, let me start pulling them because I know these cats got a lot to say. He just ain't saying nothing right now.
Right.
So, but yeah, man. But listen, thank you again. Thanks to everybody that was hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you guys again on Tuesday. Again, condolences out to the Harper family, and whether you're all the community in Atlanta and New York City, and about Sean, but keep them in your prayers. And you know, it's sometime, man, it's just, it's a crazy world out there, dude. And you, as you just said, you're lost your nephew not too long ago. And it's just these young guys, they got a lot of stuff on them, man. We gotta check in on them a little bit more too. You know what I mean? Like, gotta check
Oh man,
in.
I'll
And
talk to you.
mm-hmm.
I had you
So
laughing, you'll forget about it.
yeah, man, absolutely.
Come over, we'll work out.
Absolutely. All right, my man. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you all this coming Tuesday. Tyrone, I think we'll be back. I'm not sure. If not, maybe we can get Marcus again.
Maybe.
Chop it up. Maybe. We will see, man. We will see. All right, guys. We will see you all next week. Peace.
Peace.